About a year ago, I took the leap and moved my entire life to London, the city of my dreams. Growing up in America for most of my life, there were a lot of cultural differences I noticed after living here for a year. I'm going to narrate this a bit differently than my other videos. It'll feel more like a friend that I'm catching up with after a long while. So, let's set the scene. And the music? There we go. Without further ado, here are the differences between US and UK. As you can see from the weather behind me, this one's a big deal for people who move to the UK, so be prepared. It will look gloomy, like near the fall, winter time. But I have to say, it's not all the time that it rains. We're known to have this kind of weather, but I used to live in Seattle, and this is basically the weather in Seattle. It just depends what place or what area you live in. There's been beautiful sunsets here. Just be prepared for bipolar weather. I've always grown up using a month, day, year rule when it comes to dates, but here it's day, month, year. But what definitely freaks me out is that I always thought the start of the week was Sunday, just like they do in the US, but on their calendars here, they start on Monday. It was just a weird thing to see when I first noticed it from my wife. Lastly, the time. US does a 12-hour clock, UK does a 24-hour clock. So when I see something like this, it takes me a while to process what the actual time is. With the scenery, it depends where you live in America. So coming here to London, it's one of the main reasons why I fell in love with the city in the first place. Not only do you get historical buildings, different kinds of architecture all around you, it always feels like you're in a movie. And that's one of the main reasons why I love London. Alright, this one's a big one. I feel like everyone always asks me this question every time I return from London when I'm in the US. Did you get an accent yet? Have you gotten your British accent, Rowen? And I'm like, no, I did not. I haven't gotten my accent. You know, when you're surrounded by a culture, you tend to adapt to things. And I definitely do. When I'm around my British friends and we're all hanging out, I see that I'm twisting my accent just a little bit on some words. I had a problem with not trying to discredit where I grew up, which is America. So in the end, as much as I want a British accent, I've made peace with the fact that I will probably never have a full British accent, but I am happy that my future kids will, because they're gonna grow up here and in school and be surrounded by that, and they're just gonna adapt to their mother. And it's just gonna be a nice, little change of pace. And yeah, that'll just be the best day when I'm just sitting there and they're all British-like, and I'll be like, I made you. There's definitely some lingo that I have to adapt to now that I live here. I definitely say things like cheers a lot. Like when you say thanks to someone, you say cheers, man. And then you walk away. All cool, I say things like, what do they say here? When there's a lot of traffic or a lot of something, they say bear, B-A-R-E. So there's bad traffic here. That's really it though. Oh, sometimes I say oh, is it? As in oh, is it? Oh, really? I didn't know that. Ho ho ho. Indubitably. The main thing though I did notice is that I have to switch my accent sometimes. When I'm speaking in an American accent, when I'm at shops or when I'm just talking to customer service or whatever on the phone, they can't understand me the first time. But when I kind of switch my accent to say things in a more British tone, they get it. It's weird. We're all speaking the same language, which is English, but accents do matter in comprehension. Yeah, I even experienced that with my wife. Sometimes my wife says something and I just can't understand it unless she really slows down her accent, and then she can't understand me unless I twist my accent a little bit too. So it's give and take, and that's just something I've adapted to whilst living here, so yeah. America is just a driving country, honestly. There's some places like New York, you take the subway and all that stuff, but for the most part, people need cars to get around in America. But UK wins when it comes to public transportation. And for the past year, I've just been getting around by the tube or the buses. It's just amazing. Like, you just tap in to get from one place to another, and you can go anywhere you want to go in London. And I just love how at every stop there's something always different. In America, we're a driving country, so we're not used to walking. If there's a grocery store across the street, we will drive to that grocery store, as opposed to UK where they're like, what the heck is wrong with you? And they would just walk it across the street. A 25-minute walk is just normal to them. You definitely will get your Target steps in every day if you live in the UK. When I first arrived here, something with European cities is that they have a work to live mindset. They work in order to take that holiday that they've been saving up for, to just, and they do it often. They're very lenient when it comes to here. Like, if you're late because of public transport, they're just kind of like, whatever. But if you're late to work in America, they're on you about that. In the US, it always feels like people are moving constantly, 24/7. They have a live to work mindset over there. It's like they need to work in order to function. It was one of the main reasons why I left. It just felt like I was working too much rather than enjoying my 20s. The thing about the US is that since we're a driving country, we have so many tasks that we do within a day. When I went back to the States a couple of months ago, I needed to do 5 things, like get groceries, pick up some stuff, run some errands. I did all of that in basically an hour, just because I was able to drive. As opposed to if that was in the UK, that would take me the whole day due to trains and travel. America is much more fast-paced to me. When I'm here in the UK, I found myself in a more relaxed environment. I find myself in a more if I don't get to it today, tomorrow type of thing. I gotta say, there's something about it that makes me more drawn to the UK lifestyle when it comes to working. And the last thing, which is the favorite thing, is food. How's the food here? I'm gonna give you 3 topics, all right? Portion size, America. You already know. America has the biggest portion size, which is why we lead in the world in obesity. The taste, I also have to give it to the US. Sorry, UK. Your food is okay. I don't know. It just depends on your preference. But for me, US food is definitely better than UK. And I'm sorry. It's just how I feel. I've tasted both now, okay? I have to say. But here's the thing. In America, we have the Korean barbecue, all-you-can-eat sushi, Chick-fil-A, In-N-Out, all that stuff, all that good stuff. It's so great. But afterwards, you just feel terrible. It feels like you want to die because it's just, you're so bloated. You feel super unhealthy. But I don't know why. I don't know how they cook their food here in the UK, but every time I eat the same things, I don't feel as bad. I don't know if it's because I walk so much, I walk it off, but I feel like it's just healthier to eat in the UK. And the smaller portion size is the right amount of food you should be having. I love fish and chips. I love English breakfast. I love Yorkshire pudding and all that stuff. You gotta appreciate both, both cultures. But if I had to pick, I'd still pick US, honestly. If you're trying to stay healthy, UK food is the way to go. If you're just trying to binge and enjoy yourself and have a good time, US all the way. Yeah, so those are the big differences between the UK and the US. Well, after a year, I can finally say this is where I'm supposed to be. Don't get me wrong though, every place has their ups and downs. London isn't perfect. For example, I hate how compact everything is. And there are some days I do get tired of trains and buses. Sometimes I just want to get home as fast as I can. It just feels like sometimes there's not enough hours in the day here. But that's life. Here's my best advice. It's not much about the destination, but rather it's the journey. As much as London was a dream come true for me, I could find the same happiness in America or somewhere in Asia. No matter where you are or where you move to, it's going to be about the happiness you find within yourself, no matter the scene. So don't wait for the move. Don't wait for the right time or place or another external factor. It's within you. It always starts with you.